I have been just informed by our commencement speaker that we will not be done under an hour this year, so as he gets up here and starts talking, you can kind of get him what's what. It's my pleasure to announce your commencement speaker. In all my years in education, I have never seen probably this happen where there's been an active administrator do the commencement speech, which obviously says a great deal how the students, the rapport they have with this person is usually one that can go either way. So for them to think as highly as obviously they did, to have Mr. Ned Cluden, their high school principal, do the commencement address, it's really quite remarkable. So without further ado, your time is counting, Mr. Cluden.
Nothing like getting thrown under the bus by your boss, right? I'll try to make it brief. Good afternoon again. Welcome to Wapaton High School. I do want to thank the class of 2017 for being chosen as your commencement speaker. It's an opportunity and it's an honor. I have not taken the task lightly, and I hope that there's something that you can take today and personalize for yourself. You see, the class of 2017 and I arrived at Wapaton High School at the same time, the fall of 2013. We've come a long way in 4 years, at least I think we have. They've matured a lot, and I like to think that I have too. I told Trayton that I was going to make him work for his money today, but I have to move. At graduation practice on Wednesday, I told the seniors that it was their last opportunity to bribe me so that I wouldn't make fun of them in the graduation speech. See, this is an unpaid gig, me speaking today, so it was my only opportunity to make some money. Today, I'm at $0. So I think that makes everybody fair game. You got any money, Dean? I do want to challenge the class of 2017. You see, I was 18 once too. When I was 18, I had the world by the tail. I thought I knew it all. Not only did I not know it all then, I still don't. I still learn lessons daily. I've learned a lot of lessons from you. But I want to challenge you over the next 4 to 5 years to find someone that can speak truth into your life. You see, when we don't have that, when we don't have someone that we trust, that will speak truth to us, we only see life through our own perspective. And that's dangerous. Let me tell you what I mean by that. There was once a little girl, about 2.5 years old, that had to go and spend the weekend. I shouldn't say had. She got to go and spend the weekend with Grandma and Grandpa. And this little girl was all giggles and all smiles, and she had just gotten a new tea set for a gift. So she wanted to play tea at all hours of the day. And Grandpa wanted to watch the news, right? Because that's what grandpas like to do, the weather, the news, see what's going on. Well, one night Grandpa had to go out and run some errands. And that left Grandpa at home alone with his granddaughter at 2.5 years old. And he's there kicked back on the couch, resting, watching the news. And here comes his little granddaughter over with this cup of tea filled with water, of course. And Grandpa thinks, all right, I'm here alone, I might as well play along. So he starts sipping the tea. He's got his pinky up, gives it a little British accent, right? So he drinks it, she runs off, and she fills the cup again, and comes back in, and he sips it, and she's giggling. Oh, a spot of tea, right? And they're having a grand old time. Keeps on drinking the tea. Grandma finally comes home, and the first thing that Grandpa says when she walks in is, oh, you have to see this. And he tells his granddaughter, run, get me some tea, get me some tea. So she jogs off giggling, she comes back with a full cup of water, and Grandpa takes it and he says, oh, a spot of tea for me. And he sips it with his pinky in the air. And his wife looks at him and says, did it ever occur to you that the only water she could reach is the toilet? grandma's perspective, this was the cutest thing on earth, right? When we inject grandma's perspective, not so cute. So that's a challenge, seniors. Find someone to speak truth into your life. It could be a friend, it could be a loved one, it could be your parents. Just like Mark Twain said, it was amazing how ignorant my dad was when I was 18, but I couldn't believe how much he learned in 7 years when I turned 25. Keep that in mind, graduates. Find someone to speak truth to you. My wishes for you, class of 2017, are to lead a happy and fulfilling life. That seems obvious, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that if you don't be intentional about things, that doesn't just happen. Your life won't be happy and it won't be fulfilling if you aren't intentional about certain things. I have 3 keys today for you to think about making moves and being intentional about to make sure that your life is happy and fulfilling. Number 1, begin with the end in mind. This is, of course, one of the 7 highly effective habits that Stephen Covey wrote about in his book. Begin with the end in mind. I ask kids all the time, what do they want their life to look like in 10 years? And invariably, their answer always involves something about success or wanting to be successful. But when I probe deeper and I say, what does that look like? I get a lot of blank stares. What makes a person successful? Who determines what success looks like? John Masefield said, success is the brand on the brow of the man who has aimed too low. Teddy Roosevelt said, success is knowing how to get along with people. Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. And my favorite, Mark Twain said, all you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure. Now, some of you have gone down this route already. I don't know that it's worked real well for you in high school, so I don't know that I'd go the ignorance and confidence route. But what do all of these people have in common? They all seem to hinge on the theme that we can decide for ourselves what success looks like. I wrote something that I hope will help you illustrate what I mean when I say begin with the end in mind. This is written from the perspective of my oldest son, Jackson, but it was written by me. We are gathered here today to celebrate the life of my father, Ned Gluten. My dad was a proud disciple of Jesus Christ, a faithful husband, loving father, and devoted educator. He believed that the value of his life should be measured by his impact on others. Through his many years in education, he had the opportunity to impact thousands of students. And with each year that passed, he strived to be a positive influence on young people. He believed that life was to be lived through relationships. He valued investing in the lives of his parents, both by birth and by marriage, also his brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, and many friends. He lived by the philosophy that success is not found in the things of this world, such as wealth, accomplishments, or possessions. He knew that he could take none of these things with him. He made a choice every day to bring light to every situation. He knew that his smile could affect somebody's day. He realized that he'd been given an opportunity to live a life of purpose and fulfill the calling he'd been given, to humbly serve others and to serve them well. We will all miss his humor, his smile, his big bear hugs, but we will forever feel his love. The things in this eulogy are goals of mine. I will be the first to tell you that I'm not there yet. I wish I could tell you that every day in every situation I bring light to it. But I hope by the time I'm done I can. I got the idea to write my own eulogy from a man by the name of Joe Ehrman. He's a high school football coach, and he requires all of his senior players to write their own eulogy and read it in front of their teammates before their last football game. You see, Joe Ehrman believes that his job as head football coach is to help boys turn into men. Helping them go through the process of thinking about the end of their life and the things that they want to be remembered for is a difficult and, trust me, very humbling task. But in my opinion, it's very useful. Helen Keller once said, "It's a terrible thing to see and have no vision." Graduates, your life, whenever it ends on this earth, it will be very obvious to you and the people that love you whether or not it was successful. Let me give you a hint. It will have nothing to do with the salary you earn, the house you live in, or the car you drive. Very few eulogies begin with, "We're here to remember John Smith. He earned a very nice six-figure salary, lived lavishly, and drove a Corvette." Graduates, to be successful, heed the words of Mother Teresa. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. That means loving your future spouse well and loving your children well, and on from there. Begin with the end in mind. What do you want your life to look like in 10 years? Number 2, avoid addiction. Earlier this year, I made the decision to speak to the student body about addiction and my experiences with it. I told them then that I was a lifelong teetotaler. I gave them examples of many famous people who had also made the decision to live their lives without the influence of alcohol. Now please believe me when I tell you this, that I didn't make the decision to not drink because I think that people who do are wrong. That's not how I feel at all. In fact, in college, you would have found me at 2 to 3 parties a week, driving my friends from place to place. I'd like to tell you that I was probably the most popular designated driver in Valley City. They always knew they'd get home safe. No decision to not drink because I didn't want to become an addict. You see, I grew up with an alcoholic father. I saw the evils of addiction firsthand. And I also knew that alcoholism ran in both my mom and my dad's side of the family. I had the genetics to become an alcoholic. Even knowing that, I was beginning to think that I wanted to start drinking when I was a freshman in college in the spring of 1994. I'd almost decided to start when I got a call that my dad had quit drinking and gone sober. I, of course, didn't believe it right away, but every day that passed with his sobriety, it gave us more and more confidence that his decision to be sober was real. My mom and dad are watching today on the webcast, and I'm very proud to tell you that my dad just celebrated 23 years of sobriety. Very proud of him. Love you, Mom and Dad. I made the decision at that time that I would live my life sober as long as he did. The title to my talk to the student body a couple months ago was that nobody chooses to be an addict. You see, society looks down on addiction as though that's exactly what happens, that a person makes a choice to become addicted. That's not what happens at all. It's a slow fade. I say this because I want you young people to hear me. Sometimes you must be intentional to avoid addiction. Andy Stanley is an author that I've read and listened to speak many times. He talks about guardrails that we see on highways. Next time you're driving in an area that has guardrails, I want you to look at them and think about this. You see, the highway department, when they install them, they don't put guardrails someplace where it's not safe, they put them on the road surface. They keep us safe from danger and harm. They didn't put the guardrail in the ditch or over the cliff, they put them on the road surface. The same has to be true for us if we want to avoid addiction. I need to put guardrails in my life in a safe area to prevent me from going off a cliff. You see, if I wait to get help until after I'm addicted, it's just like the highway department putting a guardrail halfway down the side of a cliff. It's not going to stop me if I don't put the guardrail on the safe surface of the road. As most of you know, I was lucky enough to teach in Alaska for 6 years. In Alaska Native culture, the wolf is revered for his cunning, his intelligence. People who trap and hunt wolves know that they are dealing with one of the smartest animals on earth. I heard stories of people who would go out and trap wolves that after a fresh snowfall, a wolf will leave its den, go out and hunt for the night, and when it comes back to its den that night, it will come in on the same exact footprints that it left on, because it knows those footprints are safe. Pretty smart. There's a story that the late Paul Harvey told about the wolf and how to catch one and kill one. And the story goes like this. You take a razor-sharp knife and you cover the blade with animal blood and you stick it outside and you let it freeze. You bring it in and you cover it with another layer of animal blood, put it outside and let it freeze. You continue to do that until the knife blade is completely covered and obscured with animal blood. You take the knife outside and you put it in the ground with the blade up, and that wolf will smell it. I guarantee it. And they'll come along and they'll smell the blood of an animal, and their appetite for blood will force them to start licking that knife blade. Now at some point as they lick and they get a taste for it, and they become more and more aggressive in their licking of that animal blood, they will not be able to recognize when the animal blood on the blade is gone, and they're tasting their own blood because they've cut their tongue so many times. I cannot think of a better illustration of addiction. You see, as you lick that knife blade over and over again, you don't think anything's wrong. Eventually, you lick it so many times, you've cut your own tongue, and now you're drinking your own blood. The story ended with that wolf running off and dying in the snow. And I think it can be applied to our life as well. Addictions come in many, many forms, graduates. We think of drugs, we think of alcohol, cigarettes. I would add in phones, social media. Addictions come in many, many forms. What guardrails are you going to put in your life to help you avoid addiction? Is it in the form of rules that you limit yourself on how often you use something? No phones at the table, no phones in the bedroom. I won't drink this night a week. I'll only drink once. Is it in the form of an accountability partner? Maybe you're like me, and you'll make a decision that you won't use something at all because you know you have the genetics to become an addict. For too long, we as a society have only talked about addictions when it's connected to an addict. I'm here to tell every one of you that we must start having the conversation with our youth on how to avoid addiction, not just how to deal with it. Number 3, avoid bitterness. If I were to rank my top 3 keys here, I would put this as an absolute number 1. It's the one that is the most contrary to our human nature. You see, much like addiction, bitterness doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time to become bitter. Years of unforgiveness turn people into bitter human beings. Ruby Meyer was born in 1930. She grew up and married the love of her life, Gerald Richhold, and they had 4 children together. Gerald was not a good husband. He was an alcoholic, a cheater, and sometimes abusive. Their marriage ended in divorce shortly after their fourth child was born. You see, Ruby and Gerald are my grandma and grandpa. For many years, my grandma Ruby never got over how she was treated by Gerald. She was hurt, betrayed, lost, and lonely. Because of her hurt, she held on to her unforgiveness as though her life depended on it. After years and years of not forgiving Gerald, my grandma slowly but surely became bitter. I was young when she met a nice man by the name of Pete. Pete wanted to marry her. He treated her well. He made her happy. But because of the bitterness that she harbored in her heart, she wouldn't marry him. She lost him, and she ended up dying her life alone. She died at age 66 in 1996. I went to her funeral the day before I played my last college football game. I believe that before my grandma passed, she did come to grips with her unforgiveness and her bitterness. But it wasn't until after it robbed her of most of her adult life. You see, she felt good by not forgiving him for so long, because just like I hear so many people say, why should I forgive him? Why should I forgive her? After what she did to me, you want me to forgive him. You know what my grandma's unforgiveness didn't do? It didn't affect my grandpa in any way. He moved to California, married another woman, had children with her, and remained married to that woman until she passed away. My grandpa is still alive today, in his 90s, living in California. You see, when we think that we are holding somebody else captive with our unforgiveness, we're really turning ourselves into a prisoner. Matthew West wrote a song about forgiveness. The second verse says this: it'll clear the bitterness away. It can even set a prisoner free. There is no end to what its power can do. So let it go and be amazed by what you see through eyes of grace. The prisoner that it really frees is you. I'm telling you, graduates, in this world, you will find trouble. You will be mistreated. You will be lied to, cheated, talked about, called names, hurt, and maybe even abused. Don't fall into the trap of unforgiveness. On the front cover of your program is a quote by Nelson Mandela. Many of you know the story about Mr. Mandela. He was in prison for 27 years in his country of South Africa, simply because he wanted to abolish apartheid. 27 years. He suffered a lost life at the hands of the people in control. When he was finally released from prison, he said this quote: "As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." His ability to forgive the people who mistreated him united a country, and he became the first black president of South Africa in 1994. You see, Nelson Mandela isn't considered a hero because he was mistreated. He's considered a hero because the people that mistreated him were forgiven. He came out the other side stronger than ever. He's considered a hero because he decided to give grace to people who didn't deserve it. He also said this quote: "Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. And that is why it's such a powerful weapon." Graduates, I hope you were able to pick up one nugget that you'll remember today. Whether you go home and write your own eulogy in order to prioritize the important things in your life, or you build some guardrails into your life to avoid addiction, or you recognize that at some point in your life you're going to have to decide to forgive someone who's mistreated you, even though they don't deserve it. Any of these things will help you down the path to a happy and fulfilling life. Thank you.